national socialism better than black national socialism?
No, I don't think so.
You're just a racist? Is that what it is?
You know that's no secret thinking that he is.
The government took over the whorehouse, the most famous whorehouse, and couldn't run that with a profit. It went broke.
I don't care what you think. I do not care what you think.
Anybody want take it back? Sure. I'll choose because I'm having somebody else come through. Thank you. Does anybody want my extra signs? Thank you. She got shut 5 hours I'm against a single pay health care.
Against single pay.
I'm not. I'm for it.
Are you?
Yes, definitely.
But you guys.
I'm not for an only government system.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm for options and opening up the healthcare market so that we can get a little bit of leverage.
But you're all friends. You haven't.
No, we just met in line.
But look at that.
Absolutely.
Look at that harmony in the world. They did not kill each other.
I don't see how a private industry insurance can compete with a government insurance. There is no way that they can have the same rates. I think even if the initial intent isn't to single one out, I think that's exactly what you're going to have.
What you're saying is that the government will actually be more efficient and will win the competition because it will offer better services at lower cost.
No, I disagree with that. I have friends in England and Canada. No, I didn't necessarily say it was going to be cheaper, but I don't see how a private industry insurance can compete with a government insurance. There is no way that they can have the same rates. No, I didn't necessarily say it was going to be cheaper, but I'm saying that private business has certain rules and regulations that they have to abide by that the government wants.
More money, the insurance industry made $13 billion last year.
And it didn't go to health
In profits. And I have a neighbor, I can take you right to her. She's got cancer, and she's been denied all kinds of tests by her private insurance.
Horror stories about rationing are happening now. They're being done by private companies.
You shrug off the woman who's been denied coverage. Does that not bother you?
I'm not shrugging it off, but I also know people in the United Kingdom and Canada
But we're not
that
saying
have
that we're making
have
a United Kingdom or Canada.
But I
We're
think
making
that's
an American program, which is American, not the United Kingdom.
That's not what I read in the book.
Well, no,
I read what we're doing
provide
there.
the lowest health care of any industrialized nation in the country today. We are below Chile. We are below Colombia.
The level of Costa Rica,
Right.
which is
No, Costa Rica covers all of their citizens.
Costa Rica's got
I'm curious, the free market, the way it works, for the insurance companies, it's their job to charge more and more every year and provide fewer and fewer services. That's how capitalism works. Their job is not to help us, but to make a profit. So why are you in favor of that?
Who is this that's doing what? I missed that. There was such a pregnant pause. I had figured that to be significant.
Well, I was waiting for an answer.
What was your question?
Well, the insurance companies, the way it works under capitalism is that every year they charge you more and more, and every year they give you fewer and fewer services because their job is to make a profit. And I was asking her why she's for that.
I'm for a free market.
Even in healthcare where it literally kills people.
What I am terrified of is that the current administration is taking over everything. They've taken over the banks, they've taken over the car industry, the medical, But if I see all of our...
Where would we be if they hadn't have done the things they've done?
Did you feel that way when your phone was subject to being tapped?
Did you feel that way when Bush took over the banks?
How about when they took over Iraq based on lies? Did that bother you?
You guys see your way,
Oh,
and
I'm trying to hear your reason.
And you know, presumably those people who say they don't want government involved drive on roads, go over bridges.
Yeah.
Oh, I think
Send their
government needs to
children
be
to
involved in certain ways, but I think it's gotten
Well,
way
does it
too
make
big.
sense to have free public education and yet not have a kid be able to go to the doctor when he's ill? That doesn't make sense. It's crazy.
So you guys euthanizing?
Oh,
Oh, really? Oh, HR 3200. Wow.
It says euthanizing. You're telling us it does.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Don't you just say?
Yeah.
You
Oh,
didn't
no.
read anything.
Yeah, well, you
You
couldn't
did
have
not
read
read
euthanasia
anything,
in the bill
darling.
because there wasn't
That is not
euthanasia in the
in
bill.
it. It isn't.
Tell us,
That's what it's going to be because that's what it's in Canada.
what does that have to do?
Of course, for the United States, for
And that's what
freedom.
we're doing.
So why did you?
An American health care plan.
But you're drinking the Kool-Aid too. You're falling for Obama. Help and change for what?
For your attitude. We need to get away from.
For our kids to be stuck with our bills for
No, it's better
for
to have.
us so we can be in the grave sooner. So
Grave
so cerebral
That's a lie.
palsy kids don't get their health care.
They don't get
so
it
they
now if
can
it's a pre.
die?
That's how it works under the
Down
private care.
syndrome kids die.
Under private care.
Oh, wow.
What are you
I
talking?
have the best health care.
I don't.
I do.
Tell us where you got the idea there's
HR
euthanasia.
3200.
It's not in the bill.
Anybody over the age of 59
Uh-huh.
will not get health care. They will not get a heart transplant. They will not get a lung.
bullshit.
No, it's not.
It says that's what that is. That's pure bullshit.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It is bullshit.
Yes, it is.
She knows it
Yes,
is.
it is.
She knows it. Either she knows it is or she's buying the lies so much she believes them. It
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
matter which.
That's pure
Well,
No,
it's not
you
true,
guys-
and it's not in the it's not in the bill. You keep quoting the name of the bill, but you have no idea what's in it clearly because euthanasia is not in the bill. So you keep saying euthanasia
It's
is in the
the
bill.
same thing.
What's the same thing?
When you cannot get a heart transplant, when you cannot get a knee replacement, when you cannot
Where does it
get-
say that? It says that in the bill
Oh,
that you
yeah.
can't get a really. It says that in the bill that you can't get a heart transplant if you're over 59. Really?
Oh, I have.
She's
I
already
have.
made her decision. She's not
I
changing her
have it.
mind. I'm just trying to get her to keep putting her foot in her mouth. That's all. Well, I mean, tell us, it's not in the, euthanasia is not in the bill, but you just said it was. So explain to us how it's in.
Those specific words are not in the bill, but you will die.
You die
You
now
will
if you
not
get
have
dropped by your
critical care.
insurance.
Yeah,
all know that.
God will take me.
Right.
You got,
But do you guys believe in God?
Yes, we do.
Really?
Yes.
oh, are you questioning his belief in God because he doesn't
I
believe
don't
with you
know.
politically?
I don't know what you guys believe in.
You question his belief in God because he disagrees with you
No, I
politically.
don't know
You
what
just
you believe
did.
in.
I'm going to play it back if you'd like to see it. You just
Go
questioned it.
ahead. I really don't care. But do you guys believe in God?
Yes, we do.
Really? Really? How many?
45 million can't get health care.
Really? Oh, illegals?
40, that's the only ones who can't get health care is illegal.
That's who can.
My daughter can't get health care because she's a pre-existing condition and she's not illegal.
My dad had a pre-condition and he got health care.
Yeah, wait till you get dropped when
I mean,
you have.
he had a heart condition. He had a pacemaker, a defibrillator. I mean,
Well, I'm assuming he has Medicare. He doesn't have private
well, he's
insurance.
deceased now.
But I'm assuming he had Medicare when he had the pacemaker and everything
No,
else.
he didn't.
He had a private
insurance.
care.
Blue Cross.
When was this?
This was actually not too long ago, 1980.
We're not talking about 1980. We're not even close to talking about 1980. We're talking about what's happened since then. That the
Oh, yeah, it's
do you
gone
not
down.
do you not understand that the
Oh,
way
you're gonna blame Bush for it too? Is that what you're gonna do?
No, I was going to point out that the way capitalism works is that every year the insurance companies are going to charge you more and more and give you less and less, and you're for that for some
In
reason.
1980, insurance companies paid out 95% of the money they took in premiums in healthcare costs. Today, they pay 80%.
And it's just going to keep going down because that's how the free market works when you put it into
No, in the
healthcare.
1960s they paid 100% health insurance. Paid
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
well, this-
So it keeps going down, but
it
you're
should-
for it.
No, but it should be a payer plan.
A single payer? All right. She's for
I mean,
single
that's
payer.
what I'm for. That's
You're-
what I do.
You're for single payer?
Heck yeah. I pay for my own insurance. I
You
pay
don't
for
understand
my
what
own
single
doctor.
payer is, do you?
No, I pay for my own doctor visits. I pay for Everything.
I don't think she understands single payer.
So you believe that individuals should be responsible for their own health care?
Exactly.
There shouldn't be group insurance plans. There shouldn't be any of this. Just everybody should be on the hook for themselves.
Yeah.
So what do you think about public education?
I disagree with it.
You disagree with public education?
Children should not universally in this country be educated.
Hey, put them in sweatshops.
They need to be educated, but they're not being educated properly.
And private education is good. So
the
what?
way to go either.
So what is the third choice that we're missing?
Maybe homeschooling.
Just
Maybe that's an
universal homeschooling.
option. Maybe that's an option.
All right. Just getting wackier and wackier. Just out of curiosity, where do you think Obama was born?
I really don't know. American, that's for sure.
What was that?
He's not an American because he's just destroying America.
Why is Colin Powell a
Because he
traitor?
voted for Obama. He drank the Kool-Aid.
He's a traitor for exercising his free right to vote in an election.
He sold the military down the river.
Bush did?
No.
Oh, because I thought Bush was the one that put us into a war that we didn't need to go into based on lies.
We needed to go in there.
Really? Based on the weapons of mass destruction?
Oh,
or?
yeah. And they were there. And Colin Powell even said they were.
Well, I have no qualms with the fact that Colin Powell lied about that.
They're in Syria.
So we should go into Syria next.
We should, but we won't because we're cowards.
We're cowards.
Oh, yeah.
For not attacking another country that didn't attack us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we should attack all the countries that we just feel like it.
Oh, yeah. Terrorists. All the terrorists. We should get rid of them.
Well, terrorists are in 60 plus countries. We should attack all of them.
Oh, yeah, why not?
And you're not smart enough to understand our military can't physically do that.
No, they can.
They can attack 60 countries when we're already spread thin in 2.
No, we can't, but, why not? Why not try?
Want to try? You don't mind killing people just for fun, do you?
You don't mind killing babies or elders, do you?
Well, as we explained to you, killing elders isn't even on the table. That's a lie that you're repeating because you don't have any facts to base your argument on, clearly. Otherwise, you wouldn't keep repeating the euthanasia lie. And you know it's a lie, don't you?
No, I don't.
You don't know it's a lie. You actually believe that it's true, even though it's not.
Okay.
Thank you. You were excellent. You make your points.
I didn't make any points.
No, that's clear. That's clear you didn't make any points.
Because why should I talk to you?
Well, you've been talking to me.
You have your view, and I have my view.
Yes, but you've been talking to me for 10 minutes, and you just admitted you haven't made any points. So, and the reason you didn't make any points wasn't because you don't have any, but because I'm not worth making them to. Is that your point now?
Bottom line.
Still saying everyone's entitled to their opinion, but everyone is not entitled to their own facts.
Yeah, apparently. Well, she's got her own facts, so apparently she's entitled to them.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Good to see you're supporting an entitlement.
No, I'm not supporting the.
Well, you're entitled to make up your own facts.
Taxes either.
You're supporting your entitlement to make up your own facts about euthanasia in the bill.
You are.
But I'm not. I'm telling you it's not in the bill because it's not in the bill. And you keep saying it is in the bill even though it's not, but I'm the one making up the facts. Correct? I just want to make sure I got this right. Well, euthanasia is not in the bill and she says it is, so how is that not making up facts?
How is it on the bill? Have you read the bill?
Yeah, I read that part of the bill. And all it is, it's providing end-of-life counseling. It provides the option of paying for that. That's not euthanasia.
So Kevorkian is cool with you?
No, we're talking about hospice care, genius.
Hospice care doesn't tell you how you're going to die.
It gives you the option of how you're going to die. Of how you're going to spend the end of your life. That's what's in the bill. That's what you keep calling it.
It doesn't say hospice.
But
excuse me.
It's called.
My grandfather died in hospice.
Okay.
He did not choose to die. They were saving his life. Okay?
Who was saving his life? Hospice?
The doctors. The hospice.
Okay.
Okay, they were
the
saving
hospice
his
doesn't
life.
save life. When you go into hospice, that means you
give dignity.
Yeah, you've
They
chosen.
give dignity back to him.
Yes. That's
They
what's
were
in the bill.
helping him.
That's
No,
what's
it's
in the
not.
bill.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. That's what the passage that you keep calling euthanasia is allowing the plan to pay for people to actually go through what your grandfather went
We'll
through.
get this, and you know what? In 10 years, we'll find out who's still living, if anybody.
If anybody. So you think Obama's just going to kill us all, right?
No, I didn't say that.
Well,
Did I?
you question whether any of us are going to be alive in 10 years.
Well, I mean, look at, we're all old.
Yeah.
We're not young.
Is that what you're worried about? Is that what you're worried about?
Because we'll be long gone.
But you're worried Obama's going to euthanize you just for being ignorant? Is that what you're worried about?
For being ignorant?
Yeah.
Because I don't fall for him?
No, because you're making up stories about there being euthanasia in a bill where there's no euthanasia.
Okay. All right, genius. That's your interpretation.
It's not an interpretation. It's not in the bill. You can't interpret something that's not in there.
Go to France.
Do you understand that it costs more money for uninsured people to have to go to the emergency room for their health care? Can you not understand how much more?
On my dime.
Then why are you against fixing it?
Because it's the wrong fix.
What's the right fix? I'm just curious.
Let's see. Telling illegal aliens that they can't have insurance or they can't go to the ER.
That's the way you're going to fix it.
And we should be billing Mexico or any other countries.
Fix our health care.
No, it doesn't. But that's her buzzword.
Why don't we start charging people or their countries when they come over here for free?
That doesn't help me to get some health care.
Yeah, can we talk about? Let's talk about citizens. Just leave the illegals out of it and try to talk about what we're talking about.
What doctor's office can you not go into today and get health care?
We're part of a movement to stop by nonviolent means disruption called Laugh Out. Would you like one?
She's going to be the one that's causing the trouble, I think.
That's okay.
She's going to what?
Be the one's causing the trouble.
She's just standing here.
You guys aren't
having an honest debate.
You guys aren't
with what she's saying.
Well, you guys aren't
dishing
here.
it out, but you can't take it.
No, I'm just pointing out that you're probably here to help disrupt. It's a Democratic congressperson.
Are you paid to stand here?
We're not here to disrupt. Nobody's here to disrupt. We have an opportunity.
We have our opinions. You have yours.
Exactly.
Okay.
There's nothing. We're not being violent. We're not being disruptive.
We'll see.
We're not attacking you. We're just here to.
Well, usually when they're
So are you being paid by Acorn?
No.
Did I ask you that?
Oh, that's such a.
I mean,
that's the usual question.
Okay,
but
wait a second. What about my friend just had testicular cancer and he had both balls removed.
Okay.
And he had insurance,
Okay.
private insurance, and he was taken care of.
Okay. Well, good thing they didn't find out that he'd had acne as a child, or they would have probably. I mean, you understand that someone was kicked off. Their insurance company wouldn't cover her cancer surgery because they found a pre-existing condition of childhood acne.
Really?
Really.
You guys are going way to the extreme.
But that's actually what happens. That's their job, is to deny care. They don't make money paying for everybody.
Okay,
Do you understand how private insurance works?
I'll be excited to see what your opinion is if this thing passes.
It's not going to pass. You guys are going to win. Don't worry about it. You guys are going to win because
we're not a majority.
You get the blue dogs that are going to make sure this can't get to 60 votes. You guys are going to win.
But wait a minute.
You always win.
Isn't the government supposed to be working for the people?
Exactly.
And if the majority of people speak a certain thing, aren't they supposed to act on the?
Well, the majority of people want the public option, so we should just have that, right? Majority of people want the public option.
Yeah. And if that's what it happens to be, then I'm sure that's what'll happen.
Goldwater, Barry Goldwater. He was considered a radical Republican.
Oh, now he'd be a moderate Democrat.
He was for choice. He was for separation of church and state. I'm a Barry Goldwater Republican, but I left the party because
it left
the party
you.
left me.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
No, Barry Goldwater would be
become a Democrat.
He's turning over in his grave right now.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what conservatism's supposed to be. What it is now is just a frightening
and integrity at that time.
Yeah.
And
he may have been a little bit extreme, but he was at least honest. And now there's where your money's going, right there on that sign. That's what you're for, right? Spending all that money for those CEOs.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Just so you know, for those people who are coming in and along the side, we're asking you to be very quiet until we get our business conducted.
Thank you, everybody. Good evening. Some of the information that's out there is not necessarily true. It doesn't really have any relationship to the language in the bill. A number of you have contacted my office about some good questions, so let me just try and put a few of those out there. If you are a veteran and receive medical services from the VA, that will not change. If you receive TRICARE from the military, your coverage will not change either. Provisions in the legislation try to make Medicare more efficient and to keep it solvent. But the goal is to preserve the high-quality care that seniors enjoy today. And it does that also by trying to close what we call the donut hole to make prescription drugs more affordable for seniors. And finally, there have been a lot of concerns expressed about undocumented immigrants receiving free health care. Legislation before the House, just to make this clear, on page 143 clearly states that no taxpayer dollars will go to pay for health care services for undocumented immigrants. So that's at the current pace, insurance premiums will double once again over the next decade. I don't know how many of you here in the room worry about losing your coverage due to an illness or some other medical event. Anybody here worry about that?
Every one of us.
Yeah, everybody worries about that. Well, health care plans would no longer have the ability to drop you if you or a family member develops a serious condition. And health plans can no longer set would no longer be able to set lifetime limits on how much you can spend on medical services before you lose your coverage. We would like the freedom to leave a job and take a new position or even start a small business knowing we can access good health insurance. We would all like to see our healthcare system continue to be the most effective in the world. People want the highest quality, and I think we need to give it to them. We all want to keep medical decisions between doctors and patients, but sometimes gets in the way. We know today is not the doctor or not the person, it's the insurance company that's in the way. I know that
according to the Office of Management and Budget, this program is going to cost about $1.4 trillion over the next 10 years. So how can we get an affordable system, cheaper healthcare system, when it costs us $1.4 trillion? How are we saving money?
They came in with those numbers, and I think we certainly respect their doing that. One of the things that they were not able to really score in Congress's language is the savings that would be generated through having greater emphasis on wellness. And because we're going to be people would not incur a copay when they go for preventative care. People would not incur a copay when they're trying to deal with diabetes in a way that helps them out in the long run. And so we have to build some of that in. The reality is that it probably doesn't do enough for the cost curve that we'd like right now. I think the way that it's written, we can do better. The cost that we incur from administration alone, because doctors have so many forms to fill out, and what is envisioned here is one form that would be used by everyone, essentially, and that should help. I've had doctors.
It's really bothered a lot of us that have looked at the Institute of Medicine and other studies that have demonstrated that if we invest in healthcare now, we will save almost as much as it costs over that 10-year period. In other words, we're already paying for the uninsured, higher premiums, higher taxes, and more people on disability.
I never hear anyone asking about costs when it comes to sending 48,000 more soldiers. Why we can spend so much money to kill people, and we can't spend, and we're always penny pinching when it comes to healing people. That's I think you mentioned several times that insurance companies are coming between patients and the doctor, and I think a lot of people agree with that. I'm concerned about this bill, and I think it's a step forward, and I'm not attacking the bill, but what I'm concerned about this bill is it leaves the insurance companies in between the doctors for the most and the patient for the most part, and I wonder if there's any hope of pushing further and getting the insurance business out of health altogether.
Might be one that you don't like, but partly in the House it's 218 votes. People do want change, but I think it's change that they have a comfort level with sometimes as you're moving forward. And so I do believe that it's important for us to, where we have a system that a lot of people would like, to build on that as best we can.
I have lived under all of the systems, including Canada. I am now fortunate enough to be under Medicare. It is a great system. It is better than Canada.
One of the things in this bill says that in order for insurance companies to be part of the insurance exchange, they can only spend 15% on administration. So that's a change and a shift, and they'll make all kinds of things.
My question would be, and first of all to the audience, how many people here eat organic foods? How many people in this room take vitamins or supplements? Okay. How many people in this room shop at farmers markets? Okay. Now, the big question. How many people in this room know what Codex Alimentarius is? Okay, just a handful. How many people are aware that the mandates in this bill originated from Codex Alimentarius, which will make all of those first three things illegal eventually, and will mandate allopathic care and will not cover homeopathic or home remedies?
Not the same thing.
I think there's a great, focus on prevention and wellness. And so I think that as we work together and then look at the details of the bill, and I don't have that right in front of me, I have the bill, but then I think that's something to look at. Today, there are a lot of insurance companies who support homeopathic care, and if people want that, those are the companies that they go to, and that's just fine, and that would not change.
I have a lot of questions, but I really want to just get down to brass tacks. What's my premium going to be?
Without knowing your situation, obviously, I can't judge that. But the idea is that you're not going to see your premiums doubled in 10 years. And that as we work together to try and cut change the cost curve, to do that, then your premiums will not see the kind of escalation that they may see. I mean, we know that that's happened over the last 8 to 10 years. We don't want to see that happen again, and then premiums rise higher than the cost of inflation.
We're going to take our last question. I really thank you guys. I mean, this has been a large group, and I know that it's uncomfortable in here, so we've got our last question right here. Oh.
Okay. I know that the drug companies are a big part of the problem. I mean, there's an incredible amount of money spent on that. If there was, say, a plant that you could grow in your backyard, say, everything from glaucoma to insomnia to help cancer patients, would you support that plant?
I've been a supporter of medicinal use of marijuana, where it's by prescription and when with the consent of a doctor and through the appropriate and already recognized centers that we have. And I don't see that changing through this bill. There would be no opening up of that issue in this bill. It's a state issue, and it's something that has been decided by states, and that's probably where it's going to stay.
Did it go well? Did you learn anything?
No, I didn't.
Do you feel Same way?
She did. She danced around a lot of questions.
Good luck, girls. Gonna need it. I did. So you chase him down to get that question in there?
Concept, right in your own backyard, huh?
I know, imagine if...
There you go. Take care now.
Thank you.
That's government too, right? I mean, half those people over there are probably military and getting VA.
Where do you think Obama was born?
In Hawaii.
North Korea. Wow.
Who cares?
You're for the public option.
They've proven that badges don't work. Yes, they have. They've done a lot of research. We don't want your government control. Don't dictate to America.
I lived in Seattle, Washington, and saw tons of Canadians coming down to Seattle for healthcare.
You know why?
My sisters and RN up there too.
You know why?
Same thing. Oh yeah, because they have shitty healthcare.
No, because of the doctor grant. Thumbs down for what?
The obvious thing.
Which is that? Which is...
Vote no.
On...
This healthcare bill.
Why?
Congress does... The Constitution doesn't allow for it.
Doesn't allow for what?
Doesn't allow to guarantee everyone gets health care. It's impossible that the founding fathers would have given...
I mean, you supported Bush, am I guessing?
Oh no, okay. Bush is an atrocity. Okay. But the founding fathers would not have allowed to guarantee this as a right. They never would have centralized power in this manner.
Not sure it centralizes power so much, but you understand that every other free industrialized nation provides health care for all of its citizens, right?
No one else has the United States Constitution.
So it's the Constitution why 45 million people are uninsured?
Oh, that's not 30, but a lot of those are illegal aliens, I hear. So, you know.
I guess I'm one of them then.
Are you uninsured?
Yeah.
Is it by your choice?
Not by my choice.
Do you have a job?
When I had a job, before I got laid off, I had insurance.
So when I'm uninsured and I got a job and I'm in pain and I can't get any care, that's a fact. And it's been going on. And I worked 7 days last week and I work 6 days almost every week. And I work good and do the good job and make it right. And most of these people are on the government dole right here. Yeah. They're on Medicare and all that. If they're going, the government doesn't work, it doesn't work.
But then
if it doesn't work, why the hell do they use it for the military? Why does the military have socialized medicine? Explain it to me.
Can you explain it to him?
It's good enough for them, but not for me.
I don't know really what he's talking about, but I know a lot of people in the military, and they don't really like the military health care that much. I don't think they would want to have it.
Do you have private care?
Yeah, Pacific Care. I mean, where else, what other part of the world? In Europe, every country has universal health care, right? But what other place in the world? America is as big as Europe. Why should we have universal health care in all of America?
Because it costs more to have people have to get their health care at a emergency room.
No, the states can do it. The states can do it. And
the states have plenty of money.
No, that's the state's job because it's not in the Constitution to do health care. Everything that's not assigned to the federal government's supposed to be left to the states. What's the imperative for?
So as you get older, you don't mind if we just scrap Medicare, right? Social Security, you're for getting rid of Social Security.
I won't be on Medicare.
You're going to stay.
But I won't be on Medicare.
You're going to stay on Pacific Care. They're going to cover you until you're 95, right?
I think I'll have health care. Yeah, I think so.
You're going to keep private care. You're just going to keep paying that money instead of taking the Medicare.
I don't really notice the cost these days. It's not much.
You don't notice the cost of private health care?
No, it's not much. I'm single. It's not much. I don't think it's going to be cheaper run by the government.
Well, let's talk about the federal plan where they spend 3% on administrative costs, and your Pacific Care probably spends between 20 and 30% on administrative costs. How is that a good idea?
The government? What government?
Medicare and Medicaid spend 2 to 3% on administrative costs, whereas Pacific Care spends 20%.
You know, Mark Twain said there's lies and damn lies and statistics, and I haven't studied those statistics.
He's going to try to talk to him. He's already. Ah, gotcha.
You don't know. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Well, most of the people out here don't.
White National Socialism better than Black National Socialism?
No, I don't think.
You're just a racist? Is that what it is?
You're the racist. No, that's for thinking that he is. You're the racist. You're the racist.
I don't know what
you're the racist.
You're the racist.
What does black have to do with it then? Why don't you just say national?
Black racists here, right?
Why would you say black? I think.
They're sitting here with these Nazis.
There are lots of white people.
They have a similar ideology. This is the Nation of Islam. That's Nation.
How old is that photo?
How old is that? 1960.
They're stupid idiots.
But they haven't. Go back on that side. There is a Black National Socialist.
Stupid idiots.
Refrain from making comments like that.
Isn't that something? They're stupid idiots. Isn't that something?
Please.
No, those fails.
I have to get in a fight because somebody made a comment. Sir. Well, they want to fight things. It's all me. It's getting old. I have to jump in the middle. Sir, all I'm asking is let's be civil here. It's the truth. Voice your opinion. I'm okay with it. I don't care. I don't care. Sir, thank you. As long as they do the same. I mean to make you think a little bit. If you don't think, you just stay offended.
She's on the other side.
What? I know, but I reject what you're saying. I just reject it. I have my own freedom of speech. I represent myself. I don't care what you think. I do not care what you think. I do not care. Do you understand that? Then go away. Go away, okay? He doesn't. What he has is great. What he has is perfect. You do not censor me. You do not censor me. What he has is get freedom with your dictatorship. I love it. If you dictate to me, we cannot get our freedom if you're going to dictate to people. I don't care. I don't care if you don't like it. I want to make it a racist.
He doesn't care what you think, but he's got a megaphone trying to get everyone else to care about what he thinks. That's how that works.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Just so you know.
They don't care either. They don't care either.
True, then why are you bothering?
I don't have to explain to her. I don't owe you anything. Do you pay my bills? Do you pay my rent? I don't owe you a damn thing. Very right. Who are you to tell me? Who are you?
I'm an American that happens to love my country, and I believe that.
Do you believe in freedom of speech?
I believe that freedom.
Do you believe people should say what they think?
No, I do not. Not when it offends others.
Well,
when it is a racist
you're not for freedom of speech,
that is offending others.
He does have the right. He has the right to say it, and you have the right to tell him he's an idiot. That's how it works.
It's too bad if it offends. When you talk about race, that is not necessarily racist. This is a historical fact. That there is a black national.
This is wrong.
But no, it's not.
Well, that's too
How
bad
much have you read about it? How much have you read about it? I've read a lot about it. You haven't read. You haven't read squat about it. You're a liar. You haven't read anything.
First of all, there's no need to talk like that to another human being. Number one. To call somebody a liar.
Well, she hasn't read it. She is a liar.
And you have the right to disrespect another human being.
Yeah, I do. She's disrespecting me.
You do.
She's disrespecting me.
Is that what your philosophy is about? That's what your philosophy is about. That's the kind of America that you stand for? That people can degrade other people? You need to chill out.
No, he can say what he wants.
No, he can't disrespect it. No, you don't know what he's saying to this woman.
Roger, but then you get the police and tell him that he's breaking the law, but unless he's not breaking the law,
Go get the police.
Would you like it if I called you a bitch?
Did he call you a bitch?
He's speaking.
I called her a liar, but that may be a fact.
He's calling this woman a liar. He's calling her other things.
That's not the same as calling her a bitch. A bitch is an epithet. I didn't call her a bitch.
We're all not getting along here.
I will do that.
You haven't read a damn thing about Black National Socialism. Black National.
I'm sure you read all the Nazi manuals.
Then who started it? Who started it? Who started it?
That has nothing to do with the health care issue.
You can read off.
You are not helping this issue.
Black nationalism's no paradise, folks. The theology of the Roman Church is racist. Black liberation theology is racist. Are you understanding?
I went over and I told him. What I'm going to ask for you. I'm going to ask that you move yourself just a little ways down within the crowd. I'm not asking much, sir. I'm simply asking. It's okay, just for now. It's okay. Do me a favor. Either way. Would you do that for me?
Yeah. Can I explain one thing, please?
I did need to see what happened.
Would you rather have that than nothing?
I would never have nothing.
I don't pay cash. Oh, really?
Most people
don't have cash. Really?
Most people are without
independently
insurance.
wealthy.
Even still, you can go to the hospital. Even now, they do not. They have
Their
to
problem
take you.
is
They
they
have
think
to take you
everybody's
to a hospital.
But she doesn't. What she's saying is actually the problem, but she's making it sound like it's the solution. Oh, you go to the emergency room, you get care.
That is the case.
But
If you didn't have cash,
forced into
it's
the
like
public
we're all
plan, then we're all going to be in a system that is going to mirror the emergency room. Long waits.
Where do we rank in healthcare in industrialized nations?
We have the finest healthcare.
Nobody leaves this country.
You may have, but I don't.
Goes to Canada
I have
for
no
health
healthcare.
care.
So it balances out. It balances out. You have good healthcare. I got none.
So when you do get a job where your employer provides you health care.
Good luck with that. You know how that's been cut in half since 1995, the amount of employers that actually pay for health care. It's been cut in half.
And why is that? Because Medicare's out of control, because tort reform
How could Medicare have anything
because
to do?
Medicare so underpays doctors that they have to jack up the price for everyone else. A doctor does not, the average cost to the American family is an extra $1,800 a year in health care insurance costs to supplement how much Medicare is underpaid.
So you're expanding Medicare?
No.
You just said it. The problem is that Medicare is not paying enough for doctors.
Medicare is so inefficiently run.
No, it's that they're not paying enough for doctors. It's very efficiently run. It has 2 to 3% administrative.
And who's going to pay for that?
It has 2 to 3% administrative fees, whereas your private plan has 20 to 30%. So which one's inefficient?
It's completely broken. It's totally
How is it
underpaid.
broken?
It's completely broken because it. Oh my God! It completely underpays doctors.
So we should pay more to doctors.
And where's that money going to come from? They've already said in the meeting, the congressman admitted they don't know where the money is going to come from.
It's going to come from prevention. It's going to come from having no
hope. Oh, we're going to pay for it.
Actually,
so we're going to pay for it with hope.
No, we're going to pay for it with facts. If you look at the fact that prevention actually, $1 spent on prevention can save up to $200 in healthcare costs.
Go to a pediatrician. If you have children, you will see that the waiting room is full of families that do not have private insurance. They are getting the best preventative care paid for by the government, by all of us already. You know,
but what about the 45 million people that don't have it?
It's not 45 million, it's 15 million.
Oh, now it's 15. Someone said 30. You guys play with the numbers all you want.
Between the illegal immigrants, the people who are in transition from one job to the other, and the people who intentionally decide.
Where do you get your? I'm just curious. Where you get the 15 million on? You're saying
the Heritage Foundation. Look it up.
Thank you. That's all I needed. So do you think anything was solved today at the meeting?
Well, it would have been nice if the event had been on her website, so we could have known. And if when I called the staff, they had admitted this was going to happen. I asked them point blank last week if she was going to hold any town hall forums related to healthcare, and they said, oh no.
Well, do you understand? You understand why it was done at the last minute, right? I mean, look how many people showed up with it at the last minute. You complain there wasn't enough turnout.
Only people who got the information through MoveOn.org and Organizing for America.
That's where you got your information?
Somebody who subscribed to that site tipped me off.
Okay. Well, do you understand why she did that? Because these
what is she afraid of?
Afraid of all the carpetbaggers that have been showing up at all the other meetings for bust in and.
They're not bust in. You know, if people if a Tea Party group gets together and everybody chips in and gets a charter bus, you call that AstroTurf?
I'll back off bust in, but
especially since the Adam Schiff town hall tonight. The unions and the single-payer activist groups are admittedly bussing in people.
Why? Why do they have to bus in people? They can't stand on their own?
Because they know that all the Tea Party groups up in the LA area have organized to attend.
Because they can't stand on their own.
Oh, just answer your sign, prevention.
We learned about
prevention.
Listen, we learned about this.
You can put your sign away. I just answered it for you. That's where the money's coming from. It's coming from prevention.
We only learned about this 12 hours ago.
Look at this.
From prevention.
That's how it works. You're one of our constituents?
Yeah, I am. Yes, I am.
Okay.
Susan Davis?
Okay.
Absolutely. And
you're here?
Yeah.
So what's the problem?
What do you mean what's the problem?
Why wasn't it on her website?
The problem is that I'm not in there. The problem is that she didn't send out an email that I got while everybody else got emails. Not mine. I didn't get any emails from her. And I've been calling her office every single day to find out if she's going to have a town hall meeting. And I was told no.
I'll give her this. At least it came out.
Do you want to know how many letters
like a scared baby.
Let me show you. I have Boxer signed Pelosi and everybody.
Oh my God, those
there's been people showing up at these things with guns.
Oh, that's all right. I got them in my phone too.
There aren't people showing up.
What do you see here? Do we look?
Compare phone numbers. Maybe you got the wrong one.
How is that?
I just filmed people pushing each other. Don't tell me that. Right in front of you.
Yes, literally.
If the cops weren't here, that would have been violent. I guarantee you.
So what?
So what?
Yeah.
So you're for violence.
No, I'm not for violence, but it doesn't.
So what?
Because not only this.
We're all political activists here.
Okay, but not just this side is being the ones that are being violent.
Okay. So that excuses it?
No, I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying it's on both sides.
So now what's coming?
I don't agree because it's
So what does that sign mean?
This is making fun of it.
It's just being silly. I hate all politicians.
You hate all of them?
All of them. All of them.
Okay.
Stupid.
Medicare is $39 trillion in debt.
How well is that working for you?
Well, you understand why, right?
Yeah, because
With
it's like a big Ponzi scheme. But it's a big Ponzi scheme because a long time ago the government started saying, we'll just use that money for other things and we'll put it back when it's time.
Well,
They never put it back.
The problem is people are living longer.
Yeah, I know.
That's the reason it's out of money.
That's part of it. No, part of the reason.
Obama's going to take care of that. You don't have to.
You really believe that there's going to be euthanasia? Part of the plan is
eventually.
No, but I believe that through withholding treatment, people will die, and a lot of younger
So you
people
think that Obama's plan is going to withhold treatment?
Yes.
Yes, because
but the
rationing.
The rationing, but
it has to be.
Because that's what we have now.
Yeah.
Because the private insurance now does rationing. How can it be worse than now? How can it be worse than the rationing that's going on now? Please.
I don't want government run. I want healthcare reform. I want the state restrictions lifted so you can go to any state you want to buy your insurance, like your cars. The other one is tort reform.
Okay.
All these attorneys, the doctors charge so much because they have to pay so much for malpractice because the attorneys. Another idea is a $5,000 annual tax credit per family that they can put toward whatever insurance they want.
Talk about Ponzi scheme.
Without that comes as a tax credit to your family. Okay?
Yeah, and then you have $25,000 in medical bills, and what? How did that help you?
No. The $5,000 does not cover your medical bills. Then you can go and buy whatever program you want. And the reason is when you lift that state restriction, there's competition. And when these people are charging too much, people are going to go to that one, and that'll bring the cost down.
But the thing is that competition.
And that will cost nothing. Yeah.
Each of those things, each of those private companies, all are paying 20% or more in administrative fees, whereas the public option pays 2 to 3%.
I didn't say it's perfect.
No,
I just said that wouldn't cost any money.
Perfect would be single payer.
No, it wouldn't.
Okay, but people up to 80,000 don't have to pay for this house plan. So it's.
Do you pay for your Medicare?
Oh, don't you stop that one too.
Well, do you?
He's working so well. But I tell you what, I worked 45 years.
Okay.
Right. Okay. And I tell you, it's working well for me now. But I also know Medicare is broke. So what point does
But they still pay for everything. I mean, you say they're broke like they're cutting, like they're not paying your doctor.
Well, yeah, but it's broke. You cannot continue a thing that is going to be broke in about, what is it, 2017? It's not broke yet, but it's going to be. So what kind of a point do you make? So now we should all go on a plan like this, and everybody is broke, even you younger people.
Because the private plans make it any better. If they're spending all their money.
She just gave you a whole bunch of options. You didn't listen to one.
No, I agreed with a few of them. Like tort reform. The medical malpractice is 1% of the cost. The cost that the insurance companies charge on top of everything else, that's 20%. But you don't want to get rid of the 20%.
They make it depends on the company. I mean, they make I don't know. The most they'll make is up to 12% profit. There's nothing wrong with profit, but profit is innovation.
No, not in healthcare. You know what innovation is in healthcare? Innovation is finding ways not to cover you. That's what innovation is in a healthcare company. That is how you innovate. You find ways to charge people more.
That's how new medicines come on the market, and most of them do come from the United States, from the pharmaceutical market.
True.
It's because people can make a profit once you can't do that any longer.
But making a profit off people's healthcare is a different thing.
It's just
Obama Joker.
Yeah, it's from a movie,
So what kind of healthcare do you have?
I have cash and carry. It works really good.
Yeah, me too. I go to Tijuana.
It works real good. Cash and carry.
You go to Tijuana for your healthcare.
Are you a purple shirt now, like the brown shirts?
Yeah, right.
I have the purple shirts.
Like the brown shirts. You just compared me to the Nazis. You just compared me, a Jew, to the Nazis.
You know what happened in Germany?
Tell me.
Exactly. Government,
Hey, Mike, good night.
healthcare under Hitler. Oh yes, you love it.
Tell me, please.
You love it.
Excuse me? Okay.
You will love this. Okay, under Hitler care, first they went after, the people that were handicapped or retarded, they had them sterilized. And the people went along with that. They thought it might not be a bad idea. Then, the old people that they put in old folks home, more and more came out dead suddenly.
I know what happened in Germany. How does that have to do with us here?
Because I don't trust government with healthcare, any government.
But you trust the corporations that their job...
Absolutely. Anybody that can make profit is more honest.
But they're making a profit off of you.
Everybody should make a profit. These guys are intellectually lazy.
Wait, say that again? First you call me a Nazi, now I'm intellectually lazy. Why? You can call me a Nazi.
Just look at history.
What does history have to do with it?
Hear what you want to hear.
She called me a brown shirt. I asked her if she was comparing me to the Nazis. She said yes.
She said like a brown shirt. I heard her.
And I asked her if she was comparing me to the Nazis. She said yes.
Comparison. She didn't
say you will. What's the comparison? Someday even you will see the light. So we fight for you too, just rest assured.
Just in general, I'm on your side, but I kind of think that's ugly.
I don't care. Terror restaurant. I'm just giving out 2-for-1s for everybody.
That's good.
Come and have dinner.
That's capitalism. That's good. That's good. Oh,
You said, what if there's a plant that could help people out and you could grow it in your own backyard? You didn't fool nobody.
So, I mean, they're just sort of impossible because they'll say anything to make their point.
Believe me, I got 2 hours. I got to edit. Is it true someone was arrested for ripping up someone's sign?
Someone was arrested. I don't know what for.
You don't know what for. Thanks.
Support the Constitution. That's it.
Yeah.
How are they going to be able to do that? Where are they going to go?
Okay, got it.
I hope preventative care was going to slow
We hope. Yeah.
Well, no, it's actually a proven fact that every dollar you spend on preventative care saves you about $200 in costs down the line. That's not hope.
How much is preventative care going to improve with this?
Well, according to her, quite a bit.
According to her, she hasn't even read the legislation.
Well, have you?
Yes.
The whole thing?
The whole thing.
You read the whole bill?
The whole thing.
That's a little ridiculous because it isn't even the bill yet.
Well, that's the problem. So how did they want to pass something before recess if it wasn't even complete?
It's easy to guide for help earlier. Just print some more money.
How are they going to go for it before recess if it's not finished?
What, you guys already run out of ink?
They wanted to finish it.
Huh?
They wanted to finish it before the recess. That's the way it works. They were trying to get the whole process done.
Something like this.
And obviously,
Rush it?
Hell, it took
Since 1948, we've been waiting for this.
to pick out a
1948. How is this rushing it?
Why wouldn't I want to read the legislation as conform as it leaves committee and gets ready for the debate on the House floor?
Just wait. There's a lot of reading.
Because we don't trust anybody's summary or anybody's analysis.
So are you willing to put to rest the notion that there's something in that bill that's going to euthanize seniors?
There is legislation in there that will give counseling to people to encourage them to consider. Euthanasia. No, there is legislation that encourages counseling to tell people exactly what it's going to cost them and their family to extend the end of life care, which sounds awfully like in Canada, which they have, which is encouraging people to.
Hey, I'm from euthanasia, but that's just me and my family. But I don't. No, I am. We've discussed it for a long, long time that that's what we want and whatever. However, I don't want the government involved in any of my decisions.
But they're not involved in it. All this is saying is that there's a provision in there that's willing to pay for that counseling.
Why is the government going to pay for anybody's counseling?
Why would they need that counseling? They're not trying to encourage them to
part of healthcare.
Doctors and people that can't make up their own mind.
In every nation.
Have you ever had someone die in your arms?
Of course.
Then you know that that's part of the deal. Is that you have to sit down and talk about the end of life care.
Yes,
so why would
I've had several people.
So then what's the problem with having the government pay and play for it?
The government had nothing to do with it.
Because they have private insurance.
Of government, period.
Period. All the way back to April.
All right, I'm out of tape. I'll see you guys in the next one.
What a cop-out!
There's 4 minutes left.
That's when the fight was going to break out.
There's 4 minutes.
Go! God!
If anyone's got something to
Back up next time. Come on.
Jesus Christ!
Bye.
Look at that.
Absolutely.
Look at that harmony in the world. They did not kill each other.
I don't see how a private industry insurance can compete with a government insurance. There is no way that they can have the same rates. I think even if the initial intent isn't to single one out, I think that's exactly what you're going to have.
What you're saying is that the government will actually be more efficient and will win the competition because it will offer better services at lower cost.
No, I disagree with that. I have friends in England and Canada. No, I didn't necessarily say it was going to be cheaper, but I don't see how a private industry insurance can compete with a government insurance. There is no way that they can have the same rates. No, I didn't necessarily say it was going to be cheaper, but I'm saying that private business has certain rules and regulations that they have to abide by that the government
money, the insurance industry made $13 billion
And it didn't
profits.
go to health
In profit. And I have a neighbor, I can take you right to her. She's got cancer, and she's been denied all kinds of tests by her private insurance.
And horror stories about rationing are happening now. They're being done by private companies.
You shrug off the woman who's been denied coverage. Does that not bother you?
I'm not shrugging it off, but I also know people in the United Kingdom and Canada. But we're not.
White National Socialism better than Black National Socialism?
No, I don't think.
You're just a racist? Is that what it is?
You're sick for thinking that he is.
The government took over the whorehouse, the most famous whorehouse, and couldn't run that with a profit. It went broke.
I don't care what you think. I do not care what you think.
Anybody want take it back?
Sure. I'll choose because I'm having somebody else come through. Thank you.
Does anybody want my extra signs?
Thank you. She got shut 5 hours
I'm against a single pay health care.
Because
single pay.
I'm not. I'm for it.
Are you?
Yes, definitely.
But you guys.
I'm not for an only government system.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm for options and opening up the healthcare market so that we can get a little better leverage.
But you're all friends. You haven't.
No, we just met in line.
But
that have
United Kingdom of Canada.
But I think that's
American program, which is America, not the United Kingdom.
That's not what I read in the bill.
Well,
I read what we're doing
provide
there.
the lowest health care of any industrialized nation in the country today. We are below Chile. We are below Colombia.
The level of Costa Rica,
right?
Which is really
No, Costa Rica covers all of their citizens.
Costa Rica's got.
I'm curious, the free market, the way it works, for the insurance companies, it's their job to charge more and more every year and provide fewer and fewer services. That's how capitalism works. Their job is not to help us, but to make a profit. So why are you in favor of that?
Who is this that's doing what? I missed that. There was such a pregnant pause. I had figured that to be significant.
Well, I was waiting for an answer.
What was your question?
Well, the insurance companies, the way it works under capitalism is that every year they charge you more and more, and every year they give you fewer and fewer services because their job is to make a profit. And I was asking her why she's for that.
I'm for a free market.
Even in healthcare where it literally kills people.
What I am terrified of is that the current administration is taking over everything. They've taken over the banks, they've taken over the car industry, the medical.
For
No, it's better to
us, so we can be in the grave sooner. So cerebral
That's a lie.
palsy kids don't get their health care.
They don't get it now if it's a free. That's how it works under the private care.
Kids die
Under private care.
Oh, wow.
What are you
I
talking?
have the best health care.
I don't.
I do.
Tell us where you got the idea there's euthanasia.
HR 3200.
It's not in the bill.
Anybody over the age of 59 will not get health care. They will not get a heart transplant. They will not get a lung.
It says
That's what that is. That's pure bullshit.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It is bullshit.
Yes, it is.
She knows it is.
Yes, it is.
She knows it. Either she knows it is or she's buying the lies so much she believes them. It doesn't matter which.
That's pure
Well, it's not true, and it's not in the it's not in the bill. You keep quoting the name of the bill, but you have no idea what's in it, clearly, because euthanasia is not in the bill. So you keep saying euthanasia is in the bill.
It's the same thing.
What's the same thing?
When you cannot get a heart transplant, when you cannot get a knee replacement, when you cannot
Where does it say that? It says that in the bill that you can't get a really? It says that in the bill that you can't get a heart transplant if you're over 59. Really?
Oh, I have.
She's already made her decision. She's not changing her mind. I'm just trying to get her to keep putting her foot in her mouth. That's all.
You know, but if I see all of our
Where would we be if they hadn't have done the things they done?
Did you feel that way when your phone was subject to being tapped?
Did you feel that way when Bush took over the banks?
How about when they took over Iraq based on lies? Did that bother you?
You guys see way.
Well,
and
I'm trying to hear your reason.
And you know, presumably those people who say they don't want government involved drive on roads, go over bridges.
Yeah.
Oh, I think
send their
government needs to
children
be involved in certain ways, but I think it's gotten way
does it
too
make
big.
sense to have free public education and yet not have a kid be able to go to a doctor when he's ill? That doesn't make sense. It's crazy.
So you guys euthanizing?
Oh,
Oh, really? Oh, HR 3200. Wow.
It says euthanizing. You're telling us it does.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You
oh, no.
anything.
Yeah, well, you couldn't have read euthanasia in the bill because there wasn't euthanasia in the bill. Tell us.
That's what it's going to be because that's what it's in Canada.
What does that have to do?
Of course, we're the United States. We're freedom.
So why did you?
An American health care plan.
But you're drinking the Kool-Aid too. You're falling for Obama. Help and change for what?
For your attitude. We need to get away from
kids to be stuck with our bills.